Hey now. Hey Sherry Bambro. Welcome. Thanks for coming. How you doing? Hey Sid. How are you? Hi Eileen. Hey Archie the old guy. Hey Archie, yeah, how you doing? Andy's Hale. What's up, Zelmo? I'm good, Sid. What's up, Archie? Hey, Monica. I'm good, Sherry. I'm really good. Hey, B. Hille. Thanks for joining. How the heck are you? I'm great. Had a great weekend. Hey, Becca. Had a great weekend in New York this weekend. Saw my buddy Andy, who's in the room. Saw U2 and Lady Gaga perform with U2 about 20 feet from me at Madison Square Garden. I love you, Doug. Can't wait for you to see my presentation tomorrow. Presentation tomorrow. Andrew CB27. Who's presenting? Oh! Am I seeing your presentation tomorrow up in Ann Arbor? You're presenting to us? That's awesome. What was that? What's that noise?
I hit the phone paging thing. Sorry.
Allie's paging me by mistake. Oh, I'm excited to see your presentation. Hey, what's up, MZeeks? Great to meet you at the Perry Meetup in New York this weekend. That was cool. Very cool. That threw me off for a second. Yeah, I'm excited to see that presentation tomorrow. A pager. No, it's our cordless phones here in the studio. Allie hit hers by mistake. Yeah, Andrew, that's going to be cool. Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, great meetup in New York. Thoughts on Michigan opener versus Utah? It's going to be tough, Zelmo. Going to be tough. The Utes are not an easy task. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, Allie. With the peeps up in Ann Arbor tomorrow. That'd be cool. Yeah, right. Sale's trying to, he's trying to take me off topic. It's all good, though. Thanks for the hearts, everybody. Okay. So we got some people in the room. That's good. Working on some pictures. Oh, good, Becca. Nice. You had a photo shoot today? Hey, Kathy Hackle. How you doing? Nice to have you in the room. You guys we had a great spot at that concert, didn't we? Stasi, what's up? How you doing? Back in the U.S. Where were you, Kit?
Costa Rica.
Oh, you were in Costa Rica this weekend? Seeing some of the fam? I got to get to Costa Rica and see my cousin, Jose. I saw his other brother, Michael, in Westport, Connecticut, though. It was fantastic, Kathy. Awesome. Got to meet some of our Periscope peeps in person, which was really cool. Had a great meetup. Robert C. Stern, Miss Candy Blog. We had a really good... John Jakes was there. Good crew. Joyzy Girl. We had some good people there. Yeah, Kathy, I'm sure you had a great trip. Did Robert find any love? No. He found a shot of tequila, and that's about it. No love. Oh, and Kim was there. Kim, I almost forgot about you, Kim. Kim took the bus in from Allentown. That was awesome. Got fired, from Chuck E. Cheese on your day off. That sucks. Kim, we love you. Still counts as love. A shot is lovely. That's right. Okay, so let me get to my topic here. Let me get cracking on, everybody, because this is a Steal Doug's Idea episode, okay? And what I wanted to talk about today is in keeping with the theme of trying to build Periscope in your local community for small business. Yeah, no, how can I forget Kim? I know. I didn't forget Kim. I just hadn't named everybody yet. There were other people, too, there. There were Tiger One was there. Vinny was there. Who wasn't there? Dave wasn't there. That's true. Dave wasn't there. So the last couple times I've done the Steal Doug's Idea and talked about building community and building Periscope users in your community, I focused mainly on getting scopers on board, people who have personal brands or small businesses or personal services of some sort that you think would be great for Periscope and good for their business, people that you think would be ideal for this platform, and making an appointment for meeting with one of them per week to get them on Periscope and show them what it's all about, teach them how to do it, and get them scoping. And I was able to do that with a couple of my friends last week who have since scoped. And I'm really excited about it. Rabbi Joey Krakoff and Pastor Al Wilson. I had a rabbi and a pastor in here on the same day. in the studio, and I sat him down by appointment, and we went through and I showed him how to get on and start scoping. Well, I was thinking about this. Hey, PJ Pilot. I was thinking about this some more. Yeah, right, Kim? Rabbi Joey's great, isn't he? And I was thinking about this a little bit, and I thought, actually the impetus for me to do this today was a couple of scopes. Well, one scope and a conversation. A conversation that I had with Robert C. Stern in New York, how he was talking about how he did a scope recently where he reenacted the very first scope that he ever did, which I didn't catch, and so I want to watch that via catch because I think it's up online, and I want to see it because he said it was kind of fun. And then the other one was a scope that I watched Mark Shaw do today where in his scope, and I'm going to ask the same question, Kim, it was funny? Yeah, I didn't see it. But I want to ask the same question that Mark asked in his broadcast earlier today. Who in the room, is there anybody in this room right now who has not scoped yet? Put a thumbs up on the screen if you have not scoped yet. If you have not done a broadcast. Is there anybody? I think most of the people in this room probably have scoped. Mark asked the question, huh?
Dave has not scoped yet.
Dave hasn't scoped at all? Never done a scope? Okay, Cher, you did one long ago. Okay, so you've dipped your toe in the water. When Mark asked the question, there were a handful of people in there. There were newbies that put the thumbs up. Yeah, Dave has scoped. Okay. Yep. Just had your first. Great. Only one person showed up. Right. Exactly. Well, I'm glad you just said that because that's what happened to me too. Not one on this handle. Okay, and Catherine, you haven't scoped yet. Okay, so there we go. So we've got a couple of people. Right, Dave, with with the tobacco company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, what was my point? I got to stay on task.
Not scoping. Who has not scoped yet?
Yeah, but I can't remember what I was going to go with that. So anyway, for the people who haven't, so there were a lot of people, no, that's okay. A lot of people that hadn't scoped yet. And so I think, we're going to get to that and get into the importance of scoping and the fun of scoping and all of that. But I think one of the things I wanted to bring up is that it's just as important to find people to teach them how to use Periscope as viewers and as chatters as it is to get people on there as scopers. If you have a conversation with somebody and you're teaching them about Periscope or you want to tell them about Periscope and they say, well, I have nothing to say, or I'm nervous about doing that, or I don't know that I would want to get on and scope, that's fine. And I find that often when people give me that answer, I say, oh, you should check it out and you should get on there. But I don't know that I've spent a lot of time really approaching it the same way with the people who just want to maybe view or chat or might have fun with the app as a chatter as I have with like Joey and Al, where I sat them down and taught them how to scope as scopers. And there's a lot of value in teaching someone how to use Periscope as a chatter and as a viewer. There's an etiquette. There's how you find people to follow, what the hearts mean, how you swipe and invite. If they get on and you want to invite them to different scopes, who you're going to invite them to watch, and why they show up randomly in their news feed if their notifications aren't on, and all of the things that go along with getting the most out of this app as a viewer, as a chatter. And I think that's really key, right, MZeeks? I think that's really key in your local footprint, in your community, if you're trying to build and trying to get people buzzing about this app and ultimately tuning into what you're doing in your local footprint. If you're a brick and mortar and you're trying to get, some critical mass in your neighborhood so that it becomes a pervasive app, so that people all around you are using it and eventually starting to see what you're doing, in your local footprint where you do business, then I think it's important to teach people how to use this app as a viewer, even if they aren't inclined to scope right away. And there were a couple other things that I think go along with that as chatters. And I think, there's a couple people in this room. Kim, I think Kim, you would probably describe yourself, I would, as primarily a chatter. Not that you haven't scoped, because I've seen you scope, but you view and you chat a lot. You're not as hardcore or heavy as a scoper per se. And I know some people, right? And I know, like Shannon, unpronounceable last name. She's a key example. She's a great chatter. Catherine, you're a chatter. You've been chatting. You've been on here a long time chatting without scoping. And you use it more as entertainment. Right, Kim? Exactly, right? McKim troll. Yes. And that's totally cool. You don't have to scope to get a ton out of it. Exactly. Right, Kim? I mean, Kim, as a primary chatter, you still came to the meetup. You took the bus in from Allentown to New York, and people knew who you were, and people were excited to see you, Chatty Cathy. That's fine. Exactly. There's great ways to enrich your lives and get more out of this. Often point-oriented. I need to be more of a chatter. Well, okay, and Sherry, so let's segue into kind of my point, which is what you're touching on a little bit here. As a chatter, if you start to engage and you start to show up, you get to meet people. You get to build relationships, even as a viewer and as a chatter, and you get to interact with people who, you find have something of value to say or to show you. Okay, Dave, thanks for stopping by. And, eventually, I still think, even though it's really important, I think, to get people on here and chatting and viewing, because the buzz will spread. They'll tell their friends about Periscope as a chatter, as a viewer, and people will come on and they'll start to benefit and they'll get value out of this as just users of the app to be able to watch. But, oh, no problem, PJ Pilot. Thanks for stopping by. But I think that, ultimately, I still believe strongly, and I'm not saying that you have to scope. But yeah, right, exactly. You meet so many people. And I don't think you have to scope in order to get a lot out of Periscope. I do think ultimately at some point, even if you're not a daily scoper, at some point it's a lot of fun to scope. Even if you don't have a brand or an agenda or you're not inclined to scope daily, you will find, Kim, your prime example, you've met enough people here. Hey, Caesar. You've met enough people here, you've built enough relationships as a chatter that if one day you decided you wanted to go on and scope, even if you didn't have anything really, if you didn't have a list of topics or things that you specifically wanted to get across, and I'm not saying you wouldn't, obviously you could have plenty to say, but see, Catherine, here's the thing. You want to, but you're not sure what to talk about. That's okay for a couple of reasons. There's a couple of reasons it's okay to scope without knowing exactly what to talk about, okay? Number one, not every scope we do has a really hardcore agenda of points that we need to get across. And Kim, you know enough people that, the people who know you as someone who comes into their room to chat, if you were to do a scope, even if you just said, I just want to say hi today to my Periscope fam because I love Periscope. The people who know you, I've replaced TV tonight while you're eating pasta. Nice. What kind of pasta are you eating, Zeke? I think the people who know you and know that you support their scopes would love to come into your room just to say hi and be on the other end of it because you have a relationship with them. I'm planning a happy New Year Eve, a New Year scope because my birthday was Monday. Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
See, that's the thing. And it doesn't mean you have to scope every day, but once in a while, Kim, if you just felt the inclination to say, you know what, I'm going to get on and see who comes by. I'm telling you right now, people would come by, even if it was just to have fun. And then a lot of our scopes, when I scope, I can't see comments or how many people are watching. Maybe uninstall and reinstall the app. Sometimes that happens, and clear out your phone maybe a little bit. Maybe your phone is bogged down with, maybe your memory is jammed. And then so uninstall and reinstall. Yeah, every 29th of the month. Yeah, just pick up, yeah. Whatever it is, listen, when we do just our casual chats on our scopes, I don't have a list of points to cover. A lot of times it's the comments that dictate the content of the scope, and it just becomes a hangout. One of my favorite times on Periscope was this family sitting outside trailer. Exactly. Just, and listen, if you don't have a specific topic or brand or service, fine. You don't have to scope every day, but once in a while, I think you'd get a real kick out of jumping on here and seeing the people who you've supported come into your room to support you and say hello. And then you'd have something to talk about, and I think those people would enjoy being on the other end. And there's all these, there's Scope Tribe, and there's the weekly challenge, that David Bushel and Jenna Nesbitt do. Those are designed to get you scoping and give you topics to scope. So there are ways to kind of get into the groove of scoping. But once again, you don't have to do it all the time, and you don't even have to do it at all. But if you've never scoped, you will find that it would be fun one time to hit that start broadcast button and see some of the people you've supported come into your room and say hello, and it would be a lot of fun, even if you only stayed on for 10 minutes just to chat and say hi. I think people would appreciate it. You could show Delaney's picture, sure. Why not? And here's the thing. My very first scope, can't wait for Androids to get reply. My first scope was 120 days ago. Okay, I looked this up before I did this one. My first scope was 120 days ago. It was 4 minutes and 22 seconds long. I had one viewer, and my scope title had no emojis, no nothing. All it was Ask Me Anything. That was my first scope. Ask me anything. No one showed up. One person showed up. No likes, no questions. No one asked me anything. I probably sat there for 4 minutes. No, Allie didn't even watch the scope because Allie didn't have a profile yet as Allie Cohen _1. So it was 4 minutes, 22 seconds. It was an Ask Me Anything, and I had nothing to say, and I had nothing to do. And I probably sat there twiddling my thumbs for 4 minutes wondering if anyone was going to show up. That's how it starts, right, Zeke? And you know what? Who cares? Who cares? Hey, Andrew, did I feel defeated? No. I really didn't. I mean, I was probably just kind of like, I wonder if anyone's going to show up. No one's showing up. Let me see how this thing works, and then I explored it a little bit more. Your first scope had 5. See? Now, granted, it's a little bit more, the community is built a little bit more. I think after watching for a while, if I did my first scope and no one showed up, I might be a little bit like, that sucks, no one showed up. But if you've been chatting for a while, people would show up, probably. Number one. And number two, if they don't show up and no one asks you anything and you get no hearts, who cares? Who cares? Just delete it. It's only live for 24 hours, and you can delete it so it's not live at all. You can just erase it. If it sucks, if it's a total dud, just erase it. It's probably gonna suck. Your first scope will probably suck, and no one cares. It's not like you can't redeem yourself. It's not like you're going to be exiled out of Periscope because you did a shitty Periscope, excuse my language. Do a scope, and I think you'll find that it's fun. Right, Eileen? And you know what? If you don't scope, fine. And if you have people that think that they don't want to scope, that's fine too, but still sit them down and show them how to use the app and how to enjoy it and how to interact and how to give hearts and what the etiquette is and who to watch and invite them. Get them on Periscope as chatters. They don't have to scope. It's just as valuable to be a chatter as it is a scoper, in my opinion. I frankly think once you've built relationships here that you should scope because you'll find that it's fun, but even if you don't. So, let's see, is that all I have? That's really all I have. That's my point. Love talking about Periscope. Absolutely. So, I'm sorry, Eileen, I missed the first part of your comment. With some people who don't have any personality. Who still scopes. Yeah, I mean, there's people that don't have much personality. And if you feel like you're one of those people that just doesn't have a lot to say, or you're not confident in front of the camera, okay, then don't scope every day. You don't have to be a scoper. But I bet if you build relationships with people and they know who you are and you've been in their room 100 times, yeah, there's a lot of bad scopes. But if you scope, some people might want to come by and say hi, and maybe you do it for 5 minutes and then you jump off. I think you'll have fun. And I think you should tell people it, I think you should tell people that. You got it, but some might disagree. Either way. if people disagree, if people don't think you're very good at scoping, if you don't think you're good at scoping, that's fine. And you can follow people who chat. Just tap the comment. Yeah. And you can chat with other people in the room. I mean, that's another important thing. You can build relationships with other people who also don't scope by chatting with them in the room that you're watching. I just think, and find a group with the same interests, right. I mean, this can lead anywhere for anybody. And I think my point really, just to bring it back and kind of recap here a little bit in terms of what my idea is for the day, for small business, for brick and mortar, to try to build some community and get some results locally and get people engaging with you here. And you will love the trolls. They are the best, right? Trolls are fun. Is to show people how to use Periscope specifically as chatters. Get them chatting. Get them on Periscope and using it as chatters. Don't make them feel like they have to scope and be on camera and be a broadcaster to use this app. Show them how to chat. Show them the tips for chatting effectively. This is kind of getting me over being kind of shy. Archie, I mean, you know what? What is there to be shy about? What's the worst thing that can happen? It doesn't go well, you erase it, you feel dumb for 2 seconds. Then you jump right back on and jump into someone else's scope. I got to tell you, even then, you shouldn't feel weird or you shouldn't feel bad that you blew it. It doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. The community here is a community of early adopters. It's generally very supportive. People will give you critiques. They will give you constructive criticism. You can do a private scope just to practice. You can watch back your own scope and go to school on yourself and see what you feel you did right or what you did wrong. See how you're coming across in your scope. And you can get better at it. Or you can just chat. But listen, if you're on here and you've built relationships with people and you've watched 100 scopes, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing, and you would know what you were doing as a scoper. You could get on here, and you'd kind of know the cadence and the language and how to do it. You'd have an idea, and if you don't, no one's going to care. No one's going to beat you up for it. Doesn't matter. John just scoped about you scoped about overcoming being camera shy. It's a great topic. I actually had more viewers when I titled it Testing. Well, and Archie, that's exactly my point. It's a very supportive community. I'm so afraid I'll be on your damn lists. Oh, you're already on my lists, Kim. You're already on my lists. But yeah, when people see that, people love to be involved in someone's first scope. It's like an honor. It's like a cool thing that you can say, oh, I was part of it. You're part of something. You're part of somebody's first scope. People like to support other scopers here. That's just how it goes. And if a troll comes into your room, who cares? Really, I mean, you got nothing to lose by jumping on and starting a broadcast. And if you don't, fine, but show other people how to do it. Show other people how to enjoy it the way you're enjoying it, even if it's as a chatter. That's my advice to you. That's my advice for small business owners. That's my advice to get people buzzing about Periscope in your community. Show them how to use it as a chatter as well as a scoper. Cool? That's true. Had a troll in one of mine. Not a big deal. Yeah. You know what? I've been blocking trolls less and less. I think when I started out, I was like, oh, that was a nasty comment. Block. I don't block so much anymore. I try to transition them. I love to visit with people. Yeah. Thanks, Sherry. Yeah, like somebody came in the other night, about a week ago, someone came into one of my scopes and called me a quote-unquote, called me a fat ass. And I said, wait, fat ass? Are you calling me a fat ass? And I said, yeah, you're a fat ass. I said, okay, well, first of all, I don't think I'm fat, number one. Number two, Allie, my wife doesn't think I have a fat ass. Have a fat ass or are a fat ass?
You might be a fat ass.
I might be a fat ass. Yeah, thanks, Allie. And then I said, hey, I'd like to see what you look like or something like that. Hey, Dreama Morris. Thanks, Kim. Neither are you a fat ass. And then he said something like, you look like a cancer patient. And so finally, hey, Dreama Morris. And so I said to him, hey, okay, that is a troll comment. You're trolling me. I'm going to give you a chance to be my friend, but one more comment like that and I'm booting you. Instead of just blocking him. I should have showed him my ass. Open ass. I could have done that. Oxymoron much? Yeah, right? And so, and then that troll didn't actually make another comment. But I've seen people try to transition the trolls by doing that and saying, "Hey, that wasn't nice. Why would you make a comment like that? That wasn't nice." Instead of just blocking. And the person that made the comment actually said, "Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I was just bored." And then they became a contributor in a positive way to the rest of the scope. So it depends on the scope. It depends on who I'm scoping. If I'm scoping a high school senior and someone makes a really crass comment, and I know their family might be watching or something, I'll block them right away and apologize to the audience. You know, you got blocked.
What'd you do?
Catherine got blocked.
What'd you do?
How'd you get blocked? What'd you do? Did you ask someone to open boobs? There's probably new people in here like Sherry. Do you know what open? There's people are probably like, open. Why is he talking about open boobs? That's a thing. It's a joke. Open boobs. Yeah. How'd you get blocked? Okay. By the way, anybody that's watching the replay, at this point we're pretty much just chatting. So you can probably leave now. I already did my recap. But I'm happy to stay. Stephanie, this is your topic. Oh, Sherry doesn't know open boobs?
No.
Okay, Sherry. This is a thing that happened with Turkish periscopers, okay? Open boobs, fat arse. What topic? Hold on, Stephanie. So I'll tell you in a second. It's the title. Well, it's kind of the title of the scope. All right, I'll tell you in a second. So when people Periscope is huge in the country of Turkey. For whatever reason. Tons of people in Turkey using Periscope. And for a while there, people from Turkey would come in when there was a female scoper, and they would ask the female scoper to show them her breasts. But they would do it in a language barrier way where they would typically just type open boobs, which they thought meant show your boobs. So they would just type open boobs, or sometimes boobs would autocorrect to bobs. Somebody always on from Turkey, right? So now you'll see a lot of people that'll type open boobs or open bobs, and it's a big joke. That's what it is, Sherry. It's like a Periscope ongoing joke about open boobs or open bobs, and someone even made a profile, a fake troll profile called open boobs. Scoper was in a bad mood. The scoper that blocked you, Catherine, was in a bad mood. So, Stephanie, the topic today was about getting people. Oh, hey, Elizabeth. The topic today, Stolken is making a T-shirt called Open Bobs. There you go. More and more I see it from locals. Yeah, exactly, Archie. It's going to get to that point where everyone's using it. So, so Stephanie, my point for hey, Elizabeth, my point for local small mom and pop businesses, which is really what my Steel Doug's idea series is about. Said you bounce a nerve. Was to there's Shannon, unpronounceable name, another one that this scope is perfect for. Okay, Stephanie, are you still here? Because I'll direct this to you and Shannon. I'll recap briefly for you and Shannon. Because Catherine's in the same boat too. Okay, Stephanie's still here. Okay, you were encouraging a new filmmaker and it made her mad. That's really weird. Okay, so Stephanie and Shannon, my point here for Steel Doug's idea was last week I was doing it where I was saying you should bring people on board. Someone dared you. Oh, that's right. Yeah, and you did lick me.
I did.
Yeah, that was great. Hey, Davey, how you doing, man? So my point was where I brought in a couple of people that I thought would be great for Periscope locally, and I taught them how to scope and how to get on scope and be a scoper for their business or their local brand or their service or whatever, right? I taught them how to get on as a scoper. I said it's just important to get people on as chatters. Not just to say, oh, you should check it out, but to sit them down and show them how to use Periscope as a chatter and let them know it's okay not to scope. If they don't feel like they want to scope, that there's so much you can get out of Periscope as a chatter. Like you, Stephanie, have, and like Shannon, like you have, and like Kim typically does, and Catherine has. People who haven't scoped at all, who are getting a lot out of this as a chatter, right, Stephanie? Which is fine. I mean, and listen, and Shannon loves being a chatter, and Stephanie, I've pressured you to scope. I know this, I have. But, you don't have to scope. And I don't want you ever to feel like I was pressuring you hard, like seriously, like you have to scope, because you don't. Obviously, you guys are great. We've built relationships with you guys without ever watching you scope before. And yeah, Dream Morris, you chat more. And that's all good. Now, Shannon and Stephanie, I also did say, though, and this is for you guys too. Yeah, exactly. You won't be a chatter forever, though. And Stephanie, I don't think you will either. And frankly, here was the other thing I was going to say, and this is something that you can tell chatters. Yeah, you'll scope, no biggie. Well, I think, like, for people that think, I don't really, because like Catherine earlier said, I don't really know, like, what to scope about. And I said, for the people who've been chatting for a while that don't quite know what to scope about, and might not have a business that they're promoting here or a specific service that they're trying to market here and don't necessarily have something really specific to scope, you two have such a big list of followers. Yeah, we've gotten a lot of followers. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We've met a lot of people here. But what I was going to say is you'd be surprised, Shannon, Stephanie, Catherine, if you've been chatting for a while and you've come into people's rooms often to the point where they know that you're one of their followers that has contributed to their scopes and that you've built a relationship with them as a viewer. If you just hit the start broadcast button one day and said, you know what, I just wanted to say hello today to my Periscope peeps I haven't scoped, or it's my first scope, or just wanted to say hi, I'll tell you right now, the people that recognize you and see that you're scoping, exactly, we know you, Catherine. If it came up that Catherine was scoping, I would jump in for sure. Stephanie, if you were scoping just to say, hi, I just wanted to say hi, I wouldn't not tune in because you didn't have something specific to say. You know what the content of that scope would be? The content of that scope would be you interacting with your people that are happy to see you scoping and just saying, hey, what's going on? How you doing? And when we do our casual chats, they just kind of generate out of the comments. Sock Cop's made a career out of reading comments. Now, he does it in a genius way, and I watch him every night because he is a genius. But my point is that the comments provide you with content, your people, your relationships. Exactly. Kim, Stephanie, you guys, you troll. Elizabeth, not everyone as cute as you and Allie. LOL. Hey, listen. Not everybody is as comfortable in front of a camera, maybe, as me and Allie. It's not. Listen, I'm not the cutest guy on the planet.
Yes, you are.
I know this, but if you're not that comfortable or you don't want to scope every day, then don't scope every day. But once in a while, if you've built relationships as a chatter, hit the broadcast button. You'll see your people will come in and support you, and you'll have fun. And you'll be surprised. You'll feel good about it. When your people come into the room and say, hey, how you doing? And they're happy to see you, and they can watch you talking to them and be on the other side, you'll get a good feeling from it. It's fun. It's fun. And I got to say, there are people that I've experienced in the same way, even just recently, where, there are some scopers who I go to all their broadcasts and have for a while. Dreama Morris is going to scope tonight. Yay!
I'm getting on it.
And I've noticed, where's Dreama? I don't even follow Dreama. I'm following you right now. Not sure what buttons to push. Well, not sure what buttons to push to start a scope? You're welcome for the encouragement, Stephanie. I mean, that's my point. Listen, you don't have to scope often, but I think you'd have fun if you did it once in a while. Oh, and so what I was saying was, there's a couple people that I've watched a lot of times to the point where they started to recognize me from watching, from tuning in, and lately they've started to come into my scopes. They hadn't been for a while. I was watching them for a while before they started to watch me. But that's exactly what happened. They'd seen me enough that when they saw that I was scoping, they're like, you know what, I want to see what Doug's scoping about because he's been coming to all of my scopes, and I want to check him out. And I was really fired up when they showed up. It was cool. It was cool because that's how you build a real relationship. So, Stephanie, if you were to start broadcasting, or Shannon or Catherine, if you broadcasted, obviously, unless I'm in the shower or something where I don't have access to my phone, if I see it and you happen to be there, I'm going to check it out. Archie, you too. If I recognize people from my scopes that have tuned in and they start scoping, I'll check it out. Some people only scope and don't watch others. Yeah, well, right, Stephanie? You know what, though? It's funny. I thought that for Haley. I kind of thought that for a while. Like, there were a couple people, I will say, I was starting to think, man, I wonder if they'll ever tune into mine. And each time I've thought that, it was almost like it was on cue. They tuned into mine. And mind you, depending on who they are, like if I'm still getting value from them, like I'm not going to stop watching them because they haven't tuned in for me. I don't really subscribe to the follow for follow thing. That's not what that's about. To me, that's not what Periscope's about. I don't just do the follow for follow. I follow the people I want to follow. I hope to scope a bit from the Agra Fair this weekend. Oh, cool. I heard about one who scoped but ignored comments. That's a different story. Has anyone else gotten Windows 10? Now we're a Mac shop here, Elizabeth. It's not tit for tat. I will say it is still nice to do it, and ignoring the comments is not good. Like if you tune into somebody 10 times in a row and they're not engaging with any of the people commenting, first of all, you wouldn't tune in 10 times in a row because you don't want to watch somebody that doesn't care about it interacting or engaging. What did you do for your first scope? Photographers always love Mac, I've noticed. Yeah, Mac's pretty popular amongst photographers. It's great for Photoshop and they just, I don't know, they just seem to work. I mean, I'm sure Windows have a lot of the same programs that work pretty much in the same way, but for whatever reason, Mac just seems good for artistic types. Your Windows 10 impressions? Oh, your Windows 10 impressions, because you're using Windows 10. Yeah, I love Macs. Gotta love the Mac. Plus, with the iPhone and the Mac, they just talk to each other. Scoped a blues guy who I love did not talk. My husband, oh, your husband's a photographer. Nice. Is he on Periscope? Okay, what else? That's really all I had tonight. I felt like it kind of fit in the Steel Doug's Idea series because it's all about building your local community for local footprint, local business. I think it applies to everybody on a bigger scale for all kinds of reasons. But once again, it's one of those things where you grab people on the street and you sit them down and say, hey, I want to get you on this to get it buzzing in your local community, in your footprint where you do business. I think that's important. Love to do the Total Mac universe. It'll happen someday. Yeah. Sherry's going to scope tomorrow.
Yay!
Woohoo! You are welcome, Shannon. And Stephanie, you're the one I feel a little bad about because I feel like I've pressured you pretty hard to scope. I want you to know that I'm not like seriously like I don't want you to feel like I'm really like I hope I haven't made you feel bad about not scoping. Because that was never my intent. I'm not trying to, you're probably the one I've pressured the most. Because you know why I think I've pressured you the most? Because each time I've talked to you, you've been like, yeah, I want to, but I want to get it right, and I'm not sure. Like I feel like you're right on the edge, and that's why I've wanted to kind of push you over. You're flattered. Okay, good. I don't want you to feel like, Doug's bugging me again. Exactly. That's why, Stephanie. I think that's why I've been on your case because you're like so close. Right? See, Kim would jump in and troll you. I mean, watch you. Yeah. And even though you went to Auburn, I would probably watch too. All right. So, Allie, shall we
Yes, I'm tired.
close up shop? Slip of the tongue. Rolling on the floor, peeing my diaper. Yeah, we can all practice troll you. Allie was too slow to tap. Should be fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to multitask.
Yeah, not you two. Okay, yeah, I think we're going to close up the shop. We're still sitting here at the studio. Go home and get a little bite to eat and watch some scopes. You better scope before football season starts. That's right, Stephanie. Go home. Yeah, all right. Love you too, Shannon, unpronounceable name. Love you too, Kim. It was great to see you this weekend. All right, bye, Stephanie. Bye, y'all. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the hearts. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you soon. Love you too. Bye. Scope you later, Lee. All right, bye, y'all.